Today, we're going to talk about family, love, loss, addiction, and the feeling of being an animal cornered with no way out and taking the law into your own hands. Be sure to stick around and come back after the intro. What's up, everybody? My name is Brad, and today I'm back with another book review for you guys. If you happen to be new to the channel, I read a lot of indie and small press horror, a little bit of sci-fi, a little bit of fantasy, and a new to me favorite genre is Appalachian noir, Southern grit lit, whatever you'd like to call it. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, please consider hitting the subscribe button down below. Check out some of the other videos on the channel and see if you find anything that you enjoy. But for today's review, today's video, we're going to be talking about one of my most anticipated reads of 2020, and that is When These Mountains Burn by David Joy. So last year in 2019, I read David Joy's, I believe it was his debut novel, Where All Light Tends to Go, and it ended up being the favorite novel, my favorite novel that I read in 2019. So when I heard that he had a new book coming out, of course, it shot right up to the top of my most anticipated list. And the short of it is, it did not disappoint. David Joy is a naturally gifted storyteller. There's a certain richness, a certain authenticity to his stories that he pours upon the page. It's almost as if they're being regaled to you, the reader, in the gravelly smoker's voice of an old-timer who's reflecting on the days of yesterday. Joy's writing, it's raw and gritty, but heartfelt and poetic, all in the same breath. He's able to smoothly transition from a brutal scene of violence in one moment to imparting tidbits of wonderment and wisdom in the next. I want to read a small, just like a sentence or two, just so you can get a feeling for his writing. Time just sort of surrenders itself to the before and after. What was no longer is and can't be again. That's how time works. There comes a point in life when all there is remembering. A life is nothing but the sum of its yesterdays. So that's like almost, a truth that you know, but don't really think about it. And he just writes it in a way that sort of opens it up and just makes you sit back and think, like, wow, that's some beautiful stuff right there. When These Mountains Burn is a tale about the fragility of life, how life can be fleeting, how life can be here in one moment and be nothing but a fading memory in the next. And the book is set in the mountains of western North Carolina, in the heart of Appalachia, and Joy weaves together the lives of three different men, all on opposite sides of this opioid crisis that is ravaging through these small communities like wildfire. So we follow three men as their stories weave together. We follow Raymond Mathis, a father, a widower, a man clinging to the ghost of his past as his son continues to poison himself and any hope for atonement seems to grow dimmer and dimmer. We follow Denny Radler, a junkie, a petty thief, a man cast aside by life who is struggling to hang on right over the edge of the abyss. And lastly, we follow DEA agent Rodriguez, a man who is deep and thick in the heart of the drug trade, who is hoping to catch a break and bring it all burning down, but at what personal cost? These men's past, they intertwine as revenge, redemption, and justice put them all on a collision course as the story comes to a head. Joy unflinchingly brings the harsh realities of drugs and addiction in rural America to life upon the page. The pain, the love, the loss, the struggle, the betrayal, how this affliction can destroy communities and tear families asunder. How one can feel utterly useless as they stand by and watch loved ones continue to poison themselves and wither away to nothing but broken promises and broken hearts, all by the needle. All of this turmoil within the story is accompanied by the backdrop of a world literally on fire. The mountains of western North Carolina, they are burning away acre by acre with seemingly no end in sight. I might be looking too much into it, reading too much into it, but I sort of felt like the wildfires in the story were a bit of an allegory for the cleansing fires that need to come through and burn out this opioid crisis that is just ravaging and consuming the Appalachian region. I don't know David Joy personally, but I do follow him on Twitter. I know he lives in this region, and he tweets about it every so often. He'll find, come across a stash of needles while he's hiking and stuff. So I know that this has affected him personally, whether it's through friends or possibly family. But I know that this is an issue that is near and dear to his heart, and that emotion, that real life emotion that he has dealt with, it definitely pours through into the words, into the story, and just adds a level of gravity to the storytelling that he is imparting upon us. But in closing, darkly powerful, somber, and gritty, When These Mountains Burn by David Joy shines a glaring light on the real-life tragedies inflicted upon us by those at the heart of this deadly opioid crisis. A breathtakingly beautiful piece of Appalachian noir brimming with stark emotional conflict. I've only read 2 books by David Joy, this one and Where All Light Tends to Go. I have not read The Weight of This World or The Line That Held Us, but he has quickly become one of my favorite authors, and I hope he continues to put pen to paper for many years to come. I just really love his storytelling. It's dark and gritty and bleak and just has this real world quality to it. But for me, I'm going to give When These Mountains Burn by David Joy 4.5 out of 5 stars, rounded up to 5 for Amazon and Goodreads. It was a great read. I really loved it. And like I said, I just like the dark grittiness and just the real world sort of punch that he gives to his stories. But that's all I have for you guys today. So thank you for spending your time with me. Again, my name is Brad, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.